You suck at Pokemon Unite. And that's okay. We all make mistakes in this game, but today I'll be breaking down 7 mistakes that you are making in your games and how to fix them. I've left my most important tip at the end of this video, so make sure you watch until the end so you don't miss it. But first I'd like to mention that I make polls in my community tab for you to vote on the next Pokemon to be featured in my guide series on this channel. The first mistake I would like to mention is probably the most easily forgotten thing in all of Pokemon Unite that I see plenty enough since I do it myself a lot, and that is not scoring enough in your games. Even I would end some games realizing that I've let my team down because I've only scored 15, 20, and sometimes, often when I'm only playing a defender and not using stacking items, not even scoring at all. Pokemon Unite is not a team deathmatch. Yes, you need to secure kills, but that is not what will win you the game. You could be dominating the enemy team, but if you don't score, you will find yourself losing a lot of your games. Of course, don't run in when you obviously cannot score, but make sure you do it often enough and you're not holding on to 40, 50 points all the time. On the topic of scoring, another thing I'd like to mention is a lot of new players don't understand overcapping in Pokemon Unite. If you don't know yet, overcapping is when someone scores in a goal. If you have greater points than what is needed to break the goal, those points will be counted in the overall score at the end of the game. Sometimes games can be decided by which team overcapped their goals the most. Therefore, if you're about to break the goal and you see your teammate has more points, make sure they score rather than you. Or perhaps when you see your teammate doesn't have many points and you have enough to overcap, wait until they score first. The third one that I feel is glossed over too much by the new players in this game, and that is that you need a defender in your team. So sometimes you'll have to take one for the team and play the defender. I know sometimes you won't want to. I can relate. I often have times where I've played defenders for hours on end because people just refuse to swap off and pick the defender themselves. However, defenders are crucial for winning your games in Unite. You need defenders for their crowd control and their high health pool, especially when you have teammates that pick frail attackers and the enemy has one good Zoroark or Meowscarada and you just get wiped. You need a defender, and so sometimes you have to be that one great ally that your team needs. Since you got this far into the video, I'd like to ask that you potentially think about subscribing to this channel. My main goal for these videos is to try and reach as many people as possible to teach you about Pokemon Unite. And if I get a higher subscriber count, then I can reach more people. So if you could help with that, it would really make my day. This one may seem obvious, but I'll go over it quickly, and that is poor item usage. I've seen far too many players running leftovers, score shield, assault vest and rocky helmet, not forgetting the battle items of potion, to know that some people sometimes struggle with what items are good to use in the game. If you would like, I can make an item tier list, but the general rule of thumb is that these items are bad in almost any scenario. A safer bet would be to use just simply attack boosting items on physical attackers and special attack boosting items on special attackers. You would be helping your team and helping yourself. Speaking of poor item usage, there's one item in particular people just can't seem to grasp properly, and that is the XP Share. For those who are unfamiliar, XP Share is an item that gives the teammate nearby 100% of the XP and gives the user 30%. For those of you who are unfamiliar, XP Share is an item that gives 100% of the XP from taking a piece of farm to a nearby ally, and also gives you 30%. This essentially means that you're getting extra XP for your team that you would not normally get. which is why every defender and supporter is never harmed from using this item. But make sure you do not run this item on any Pokemon that you are losing potential XP for yourself, such as say you're using Espeon and you need that XP for yourself rather than your ally Blissey. Because if you're the lane carry and you're giving up XP to your defender, it will not end very well. Likely the most crucial mistake you could make inside of Pokemon Unite is neglecting the power of the Rayquaza fight. Neglecting Rayquaza can mean many different things. It could mean you backcapping during the Rayquaza fight. It could mean using your Unite move too late and so you don't have it for the Rayquaza fight. It could mean pushing a fight in the enemy's second base right before Ray, and it can also mean surrendering the match before the Rayquaza fight happens. All of these things are key mistakes that could cost you the game. The match is never over when Rayquaza is there. You could be losing by 300 points and still pull it back because you took Rayquaza. So never lose hope until the Ray is down. The final mistake you're making, which of course is the most important in Pokemon Unite, the final mistake you are making, which of course is the most important in Pokemon Unite, and that is not working with your team. Pokemon Unite is a team game. There is only certain scenarios where you should split up from your team, and that is getting farm and getting an objective if the enemy team and your own team is ignoring it. Other than that, you should always be with your team as much as you can. Help your lane partner, and especially in team fights, don't be that one person that runs off to score a few points or tries to 1v3 the team because you're just letting your team down. All you're doing is giving enemy points and XP to the enemy, and especially if you're a defender or a supporter, you should always be with someone and not just killing in DDs while your whole team is losing the objective because you were not there to help. That's going to be it for today's video. If you'd like to see more, I do guides for every Pokemon on my channel. So if you'd like to have a say in which Pokemon comes next, again, vote in my polls on my community tab or comment below what you would like to see next.